it was formed in 1705, although I don't think most people know that. It was once known as Dogwood, which is a name you still see on many roads here. And it was actually the former Taiwan prefecture and provincial capital. When Taiwan was classified as a province, it was the capital. And during the Japanese, it was known as Taichung. And you can see these are old pictures of the Japanese era of colonial structures that were built that still exist today. In fact, this landmark here is the Taichung Park pavilions down in the middle of the lake in the old part of the city. And those pavilions were actually built as a guest house for the Japanese Crown Prince when he cut the ribbon on the completion of the north to south railway in the 1920s. They kept those pavilions, and today they are the official landmark structure of Taichung City. They're just pavilions now. You can just go in there and walk around. It's in the middle of Taichung Lake. Kind of picturesque, kind of nice. Here's a very old photo of that. Old City Hall, old railway station, these all still exist today. Next slide. Today, of course, the big landmark date for Taichung was in 2010 on Christmas Day. Taichung City and County merged into one big special metropolis, much like Taipei or Kaohsiung. And in 2017, Taichung became the second largest city in Taiwan. It's been growing very steadily, whereas in southern Taiwan, where Kaohsiung is, has actually been kind of stagnant a bit. And so Taichung is dynamic, it's growing. Today it's home to over 2.8 million people and covers 2,200 plus square kilometers. Next one. It was ranked by CNN as Taiwan's most livable city, whatever that's worth. But it's won a lot of other awards over the years. In 2007, it won the World's Best Cultural and Arts City at the World Leadership Forum. In 2013, it was ranked Intelligent Community of the World by the Intelligent Community Forum globally. It was once nicknamed the Kyoto of Formosa because of the layout of the old part of the city by the Japanese. More recently, it's been known as Taiwan's Culture City, as well as the Heart of Taiwan. These are all nicknames. Number 4 in residence. A lot of people ask me this question. This is a tough question because Taiwan also has a lot of what we call foreign workers or foreign laborers. They work in the factories from Southeast Asia. But officially, Taichung has 92,000 foreign residents. I've heard different estimates in terms of Westerners, or we might consider Western expats, but I've heard numbers like 2,000 to 3,000 people here in terms of that. Overnight tourists, international tourists, 1.94 million in 2017. And of course, the Taichung Jazz Festival got over 1 million visitors alone, and that's going on right now. If you haven't been to the Taichung Jazz Festival, I'm going there right after this is over. I was there for 5 days already this week, and it continues through Sunday. It's the best event of the year in Taichung. Amazing. Next slide. Average temperature. You know, if you ask any Taiwanese person why Taichung is so great, including people who live in Taipei or Kaohsiung, number one thing you'll hear is Taichung has the best climate. Everyone says Taichung has the best climate. And you can see, we get a lot of blue sky in this city. Taipei is quite the opposite. My Taipei friends always complain it rains almost every day in Taipei. Northern Taipei tends to be very wet. Taoyuan, Taipei, Keelung. But Taichung is known as having more sunshine per year than any other city in Taiwan. The weather, summer, winter, tends to be more even, less extremes. And it's also known as the inventor, the global founding birthplace of bubble tea, which I've seen as far away as my dad's hometown of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I've seen bubble tea there. I'm like, hey, that came from Taichung. So it also is the two most famous products that people buy as gifts when to take back to their office mates or their friends are pineapple cakes and sun cakes, these disc-shaped, flaky white pastries that have a kind of a honey flavor to them. And you can see them all up and down Taiwan Boulevard. There are these stores, usually with red and white signs that sell sun cakes and pineapple cakes. And people buy these to take home when they visit Taichung. Old Taichung is an area of the city that I would strongly recommend visiting. It's down in the old central district around Taichung Park and the railway station. Not the high-speed rail station, but the railway station. It's a wonderful place to visit because it really reflects what Taichung used to be. It's a lot of old, narrow alleys and streets and structures, and it's very fun to explore. The pavilions, the old park, the railway station, a lot of old Japanese structures are all down in that part of the city. If you get a chance, just take the Taiwan Boulevard, number 300 bus, it's free. You need the Easy card. You need to swipe it when you get on and swipe it when you get off, but it's free for 10 kilometers. Just take it straight down to the Taichung railway station. The bus just runs straight up and down this Taiwan Boulevard to the end there, Taichung railway station. Get out and you can explore this area. It's very easy to get to. Next slide. New Taichung is where we are today, where probably most of you live. Of course, it's marked connected to Old Taichung by Taiwan Boulevard, which used to be known as Taichung Harbor Road. And this whole area over here behind Mitsukoshi and Top City, where all the high-rises are, many Taiwanese refer to that as Chi-Chi, which is kind of the short for 7th Redevelopment Zone. And we have, if you go a little bit further down Taiwan Boulevard, you'll come to past Sogo Department Store. You'll see a green belt that crosses Taiwan Boulevard, connects the Science Museum on one side to the Art Museum on the other side, about 2 kilometers down the road. But it's known as Calligraphy Greenway, and it's a really wonderful place. That's where the Jazz Festival is taking place. National Taichung Theater, which is a very famous landmark structure built by just in the last several years. World Architectural Landmark is right in that area too, as well as a lot of other retail, shopping, and some really nice parks. I reminded you about the Easy card. I assume most of you have it already. If you go into a 7-Eleven or Family Mart or Circle K, you can buy it. I believe it's 200 NT. It comes with 100 NT on the card. And if you say Easy card, sometimes they will know what you're saying. Sometimes they won't know what they mean. But if you in Chinese say Yo Yo Ka, they know what you're talking about. Yo Yo Ka is Easy card. And the Easy card is a value stored card. You can keep recharging it with more money, and you can use it all over Taiwan. If you ride the subway in Taipei, you use this card. If you go to Kaohsiung, you can use this card. And you can actually use it even to pay for things. If you see a reader with that colorful pattern on it, that means you can swipe the card to pay for things. So it's a very convenient card to have if you're going to be traveling. And in Taichung, as long as you get on any public bus, and you swipe the card on the reader when you get in, and you swipe it before you get off, every bus ride is free for 10 kilometers, which is amazing, because that means basically anywhere in Taichung City, you can ride the bus for free. There are taxis, of course, everywhere. Sometimes they're a little bit hard to find, depending on the day of the week and time, but they are quite cheap and reliable. Uber is very popular among many people. And of course, hopefully, sometime in the next year, we'll have our first green line subway system running up and down, elevated, I should say subway, but elevated metro line running up and down Wenqing Road, which will connect all the way to the high-speed rail station, which makes it nice. Getting in and out of Taichung, obviously I think most of you have used the high-speed rail station and trains, which are amazing, and will get you to Taipei in less than an hour, or down south in about an hour. Taichung, many of you may or may not know, actually has its own international airport out at CCK, where some of you work, and it's a good connecting point for regional flights. You can fly to Hong Kong multiple times a day, to China, even to Narita Airport in Tokyo or Seoul. There's daily flights, or almost daily flights. And we have the old Taichung railway station, which we mentioned, for more regional, local trains. And there's a highway bus network. And in fact, the main bus terminus for most of the buses is right here in this area, right down the road here on Taiwan Boulevard, just off called Chaoma. And there's multiple bus stations for different companies that will take you. And they're very cheap. A bus ride to Taipei is 200-300 NT, although it'll take you about 2 hours. Shopping, I don't need to say too much about this unless you have specific questions. Obviously, you know there's a couple of big outlet malls, there's Costco, there's department stores. A lot of people do Carrefour as their default for shopping. And if you're looking for some really hard to find items, like imported items, the 2 supermarkets that I send people to are either in the B2 level of Top City, the City Super, or downtown in the old part of the city, Zhongyu Department Store in the B2 level. There's another supermarket called Jason's Supermarket. They have a lot of imported items, and they have a deli, and they're more expensive than Carrefour. But if you're really looking for something you can't find at Carrefour, that's where you should go. You know, if you want to find 8 types of mustard or pickles or whatever, that's a good place to go.